Welcome to St. Michael's Academy, Betia's e-learning class of English class 5. So today we are going to learn chapter 4, 5 Children and It, written by Annette Nespin. So first we will do the introduction of the author. Annette Nesbit was an English author and poet. She published her books for children under the name of E. Nesbit. She wrote more than 60 books for children. She wrote tales of fantasy and magic, in which normal children come across an unusual character or event. This story is all about wish fulfillment. In this story, there are 6 main characters: 5 children: Cyril, Anthea, Robert, Jane, and the baby lamb, and one creature, it. It is the Simit. Before starting the paragraph, first we will know the new words. Gravel pit means a place where gravel is dug out of the ground. Gravel is collection of small pieces of rocks used in laying roads. Husky voice means a voice that is low and rough. Now first we will read the paragraph. Cyril, Anthea, Robert, Jane and the baby called the lamb live in London, but their parents take them to stay in the countryside during the summer. The idea of staying in the countryside was wonderful for the children who were used to rows of dull, grey houses in dull, grey streets with nowhere to go. However, their father had to go away in business, and their mother had to go away too. Cook and Martha look after them, but the children quickly grow bored. One day they decided to go outside and built a sandcastle in a big gravel pit. While digging, they come across a strange creature. Read on to find out about the amazing adventure. Explanation: all the 5 children stayed with their parents in London, but during the summer vacation, their parents take them to the countryside. And children were happy by this. Their father and mother had gone out for some business purpose. So they stayed up with Cook and Martha, babysitter. The children got bored, so they decided to go outside and built a sandcastle in a big gravel pit. Now we will read the next paragraph. It's alive, Anthea screamed. Help! It will get away. What have you found? Demanded Robert. A rat. Perhaps it is a snake, said Jane, shuddering. No, said Anthea. It's too big for a rat and too furry for a snake. It's got hand and feet, and it spoke to me. Leave me alone, said a husky voice, making them all jump back, and their heart jumped nearly as fast as they did. Please, please come out, Anthea said into the hole. I wish you would. Explanation. Now the stories begin from here. They decided to dig a deep hole. The others agreed, and they all began to dig hard in the sand. But it was a very hot day. Robert, Cyril, and Jane sat down to rest, but Anthea went on working on the hole. Suddenly, she screamed, Quick, there's something alive! They all jumped up and hurried over to see what it was. Everyone was amused which animal he was. Jane said it is a snake. Anthea said a rat. Then suddenly a husky voice said, it was a voice of that creature it. It said, Leave me alone. The others just laughed. But the two boys began to move away from the sand. Soon they could see that there was something moving in the hole. They all jumped back and no one spoke for a minute. Then Ansia wished that he could come out. Before reading the paragraph, we will see the new words. Indignantly means angrily, because the creature thought it was not fair for the children to think it is afraid. Moats means deep wide holes that are dug around a fort or a castle to protect it from being attacked. First we will read the paragraph. Oh well, if that's your wish, said the voice, and out of the hole wriggled a fat furry brown creature. It was about the size of a large cat, but with arms, legs, feet, and hands like a monkey's, long whiskers, and pointed ears like a bat's. Its eyes were on the stalks, like a snail's horns, and it could stretch or shorten them. Can we take it home? Asked Jane. The creature turned its long stalk eyes to take a good look at her. Does she always talk nonsense? He asked. She doesn't mean to, said Anthea gently. We won't hurt you, don't be afraid. Afraid, repeated the creature ingently. Me, don't you know a Samid when you see one? A Samid, repeated Anthea. What's that? A sand fairy in English. It said crossly. Now go away. It wriggled down into the sand again. Please don't go, cried Robert. You are the most wonderful thing I ever seen. Now explanation. Then something came out, brown, furry, and a fat fell out into the hole. The children stood and looked at it. It was really very strange. It could move its eyes in and out on stalks. It had big ears with arms, legs, and feet, and hands like a monkey's long whiskers, and pointed ears like a bat's. Jane asked his brothers and sister, Shall we take it home? That creature got annoyed and said, Does she always say nonsense? But Anthea told it that she doesn't mean it. The children said, Don't be afraid, we won't hurt you. Then the creature said that he is not afraid. Don't you know about the Samit? Children got curious to know about Samit. Then that the creature told them about the Samit. It is a sand fairy. Children wanted him to stay and wanted to talk to that creature more. Now we will read the next paragraph. The sand fairy smoothed its long rat-like whiskers and smiled. How long have you been here? Asked Robert. Ages, said the Samit. Thousands of years. Where are the other Samits? Asked Robert. The Samit's head and the whisker dropped. It is very sad. The children used to build castles on the beach for us to live in. But they would dig mounds around them and that nasty sea would rush in. Wasn't that fun? Said Cyril. Fun, said the Samit. We are delicate creatures. If we get wet, we catch cold and die. So, there were fewer and fewer of us. Now, goodbye. Explanation. Then after a minute, they started asking questions. Then that creature, Samit, started answering their questions that they are living here from ages, thousands of years. The creatures got sad and said the children used to build sand castles on the beach for us to live in, but they would dig so deep that the nasty sea washes away all, and because of that we get wet and we catch cold and die, and we are getting fewer and fewer day by day. Before starting the paragraph, we will see the new words. Grumpy means crossly, as if in a bad mood. Collapsed, shrunk. Thoughtful means someone who cares for the needs of the other people. Howled, made a loud sound in pain or sadness. We will read the next paragraph. Please stay, said the children, and Jane added, can you grant us wishes like a real fairy? I just did, he said. You wished I had come out, and I did. Oh, please can we have another one? Asked Jane. If you must, it said grumpily, but hurry about it. Please, said Anthea, remembering a wish that she and Jane had talked about. We wish we were very, very beautiful. The summit stretched out its eyes on their stalks and seemed to hold its breath and puffed inside out until it was twice its normal size. I hope it doesn't hurt itself, said Anthea, or crack its skin, Robert said anxiously. Then the summit suddenly let out its breath and collapsed down to its unusual size. I hope that didn't hurt, said Anthea. Explanation. In this paragraph, the writer wanted to say that the children thought that he was like a fairy who grant wishes, but it was true. He grant wishes like a real fairy. So he asked the children to make a wish. Thus Jane and Anthea remembered a wish that she and Jane wanted to be very, very beautiful. Then after that, Summit stretched out its eyes on the stalks and seemed to its breath and puffed inside out until it was twice its normal size. But the children were worried about the creature that it didn't get hurt. Now we will read the next paragraph. Just my whisker, it said. You are a kind and thoughtful child. Quickly, it buried itself in the sand again. The children looked at each other. Each of them was looking at three beautiful faces. It was like looking at strangers. If it hadn't been for their clothes, they would haven't known each other. Cyril, you look like a golden-haired angel, said Cynthia. It's not like you. I think I like you and Robert better before. And you two girls look like silly greeting cards, said Robert. Let's go home. It must be dinner time. I will carry the lamp, said Anthea. The baby, who had woken up, took one look at each other and howled. When the children tried to pick him up, he only fought and kicked. It was an hour before the lamp would let them carry him home, and by the time the lamp was as hungry as a lion and as thirsty as a desert. Explanation. The writer wanted to say that the creature buried itself in the sand again. After a minute, they looked at each other. They were looking very beautiful. It was like looking at strangers. If it hadn't been for their clothes, they wouldn't have known each other. Cyril looked like a golden-haired angel. Robert looked better than before. They all were happy, so they decided to go home. But little boy Lamb just woke up and didn't recognize anybody and started crying. After an hour of crying, the baby led them to carry him home because the baby was hungry and thirsty. Before starting the paragraph, we'll discuss some new words. You lot means a way of saying you all. Whereof means will slowly disappear. We'll read the next paragraph. When they reached the house, Jean was almost falling under the lamp's weight. She was glad to hand him to Martha, who was waiting for them at the door. Martha snatched him from her. "Who on earth are you?" she demanded. "What are you doing with our baby?" "We are us," said Robert. "I am Robert." "I am Cyril," said the Cyril. "Let us in." "Please, we know we look different," but began Anthea. "I don't know who you lot are or what you're up to," snapped Martha. "But if our children put you up to this, they will be in trouble." "Shoo!" She shut the door in their faces. The children banged at the door and rang the bell, but it was no good. They wandered away up down the lane, hungry, thirsty, and stingingly beautiful. Finally, tired and with nowhere to go, they sat down under a hedge. Explanation: the writer wanted to say in this paragraph that when they reached home, tired and hungry, Jane handed the baby to Martha, but Martha snatched him from her. Martha is unable to recognize them because their faces got changed. They convinced Martha, but she didn't believe them. She shut the door in front of them. The children tried to bang at the door and rang the bell, but Martha didn't open the door for them. They were hungry and thirsty, tired, so they sat down under a hedge. Now we will read the next paragraph. "It will wear off at sunset," said Jane. "Then we will look normal again." Then huddled together for comfort. They fell asleep. When Anthea awoke, the sun had set. "It's all right," she cried. "We are ordinary again." "Where do you think you've been?" demanded Martha when they got home. "We had some very strange children here this afternoon." "They were horrible," said Anthea. "They stopped us from coming home until now. We only just got away and we are starving." "Well, don't you go near them again," said Martha, as cook brought in a souper that looked and smelled delicious. "We will take good care to never see them again," said Robert, and they never have. Explanation: the writer wanted to say in this paragraph that they waited outside till the sunset, and once the spell wears off, they look normal again and return home. They did not tell Martha what happened. Martha thinks they were tricked by some other children, and they quietly nod in agreement, and they do not want to meet that creature it again in life, and they never met. I hope you understood the chapter. Thank you.